BYU heads to South Florida in the wet football, humidity, all of that. So no better time to roll out BYU offensive lineman Harris LaChance. Add him to the show every single week. Harris, how the heck are you, man?
Hey, what's going on?
So let me just ask you right out of the gate. Do you care what the Big 12, the Pac-12, and TV deals are all about? As a guy who's going into the Big 12 at BYU, do you even care about that kind of thing?
No, man. We're just soldiers out here, man. We don't care about the
Did I lose you? There he is. Okay, now I can hear you. So I would imagine.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. So you guys just tune all that outside noise out. You just don't even care about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like I said, like we're just soldiers, man. Like, we go out there and play the games. We care about stuff like it's not that important to us.
No, I got you. Harris LaChance joins us every Wednesday morning here on the Monty Show, brought to you by Papa Murphy's Pizza. So let's talk about you a little bit. Obviously, one of the big questions I have for you is, hey, dude, you had a baby. You're a dad now. So how has dad life changed Harris LaChance?
Honestly, it's been awesome, man. Just having a son is like just change your whole perspective, especially on football. It's more than just a game now. You know what I mean? It's a way that I can help my family and provide for them, and it's awesome, man.
Yeah, I wonder about that. Like, do you think more about the importance of football? Like, do you think about, because obviously last season you went through a significant amount of injury issues for the first time in your career since you were really a full-time player. Like, I mean, you stood on the sideline and you watched a lot of football instead of being out there. And now you have you have a baby. Like, I mean, how much does having a child, going through what you went through last year, how much does that change your perspective on football?
Oh, I appreciate that. That's a great question. No, I've definitely learned a lot this past couple, like this whole year. So I'm trying to find somewhere I can chill out.
Yeah, you're walking around. Look at the cool blue light. Look at you, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good background for you guys. Okay, here. Anyway. How's that little?
Oh, it's great. Hey, you get the Y in the background.
This is probably bad lighting, but anyway. No, you're right, man. I've learned so much over the past year. I've had to really mature, had to take a step back. Having an injury like that where you miss most of the season is really life-changing, especially for me where haven't really had something like that before. And then having my son, dude, it's crazy, man. And you got to mature and you got to kind of look deep within and realize what you really want to do. You know what I mean? And if this is really worth it and things like that. And it's like, let's go back and let's grind, man. Let's get into this. So that's how I feel this year.
But let's be honest, going to BYU is not your traditional college football path. Aren't you guys just a bunch of old white guys who went and served missions and you're married and you have kids? And so you have the perception of what BYU is. I mean, I don't think people understand it. I don't believe anyways, and I would love to hear you talk about this. Like, serving a mission is not something that is an advantage as a college football player, right? I mean, talk about how all of the things that it takes at BYU, how does that impact you as a football player?
Oh, man. Well, you're right. To a huge extent, it's not a big advantage because, like, when I went on my mission, I came home and I was, like, literally, like, 230 pounds, like, soaking wet. So
yeah,
I had a lot to do, a lot to improve on. And I am older now, so that is kind of like, kind of a different thing for the NFL. Like, oh, well, I'm a little bit of an older guy because of that. And so that kind of sucks. But at the same time, it does help you mature. And they say, yeah, we are, a bunch of old guys, whatever. But I really feel like in that aspect, we are more mature. And so we understand, we have our competitive advantage. We don't go out and party all night long. And we don't, we aren't caught up in kind of girls and younger stuff like that. And so I think that's an advantage.
Yep.
But yeah, it's good. It's got its pros and cons, everything, right? So
Yeah, and I think that's how you have to look at it. I mean, I think we spend a lot of time in this world talking about things that negatively impact us. But I mean, you obviously are a guy who this last year has been very much a proving ground for you as a man. So when you talk a lot about the NFL and you look forward to that, I mean, what are your aspirations? I mean, if you're talking those three letters, National Football League, this is a critical year for you, then I would imagine.
sure, yeah, it's a critical year for everybody, man. I mean, if you want to go to the NFL, every year's a critical year for you. You know what I mean? You got to play good, and but I'm like, you know what it is, man. Let's go out and have some fun, ball out. That's what I was doing last year too. You know, that's what the thing you got to realize is you can't get caught up in all that stuff at the same time. You got to just love the game, man. You got to go out there and have fun and kick some butt, and that's all you got to that's all you got to worry about.
Yeah, and let me ask you about life at BYU. Obviously, this week we had this situation with Duke volleyball and all the noise around that. When you talk about blocking things out, do you guys talk about that situation? Was that something that, Coach Satake, is that something that you guys talked about at all in your locker room?
Tom kind of talked to us for a second about it. They kind of told us about how they're working to kind of figure the whole situation out, and we understood that. Obviously, we're really focused on preparing for this game, and so that's our first priority. But stuff like that, it's a big media thing for us. So, we're more focused on our deal right here. But yeah,
I mean, I have to imagine when you hear stuff like that, and you know that you're going into a big game. Is it? We all hear about, well, I'm just going to shut that out. But come on, man, you have a phone, you have Twitter. I mean, is it really difficult to just tune all of that stuff out?
I don't think so, man. To be honest, I really don't, because like I said, I mean, we've been doing that, tuning out the bad noise, tune out the good noise, for forever, man. We're used to that. You know what I mean? Like I said, we focus on ourselves right now, bro. Like this is a tight knit group here, and we love each other, and we're here to play for each other and win some games, and that's that. That's it.
Well, and I think when you play at a program that's the stature of BYU, I don't have to tell you this. You went to Harriman. Like, I think you get this more than most people. I mean, you're in a big time program here. You guys are in a game now where there are real expectations for you. And when I look at your offensive line group, speaking of outside noise, I mean, you guys are one of the most highly rated offensive lines in the entire country. How good and how deep are the offensive linemen at BYU right now?
Well, we're freaking good, man. I mean, I'll tell you that every year, though. You know what I mean? Like I said, that's a big thing here. That's our culture here, is whether it's good, whether it's bad, don't listen to it.
Yeah. Don't listen to the good, because, I mean, the good's probably worse for you than the bad is, right?
It is, yeah, for sure.
But as a competitor, how much does it help you? How much does it move you emotionally and competitively when you know that there are guys behind you that can push you, that can, that really are talented enough to take your reps? How good is that for you?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I think it's great to know that we have some depth. It makes us a little bit more comfortable going into a game and whatever possible situation could arise. And also for the future generations, it's like, this is my last year. It's like, well, boys, you're in good hands. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And I also think when you look at the depth of talent on your roster, especially the offensive side, I mean, you lose one of the better running backs that you've seen at BYU in recent years, but then you bring in a guy like Chris Brooks. You've got Peeny back there. I mean, how strong do you guys feel like your running game is right now?
I think it should be awesome, man. I really do. These guys are awesome.
Yeah, and talk to me about Brooks. Talk to me about Chris, and talk to me about what that talent is. Obviously, he's a guy that's a transfer. He's incoming. What have you seen from him, and how good has he been for you guys?
Yeah, no, he's a big back. He's like 230 pounds, and he can run the football, man. So I've seen that. I mean, he looks great in practice, and I'm excited to see him run this Saturday.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people obviously talk about Jaren and talk about, how, he is a dynamic he's a dynamic guy, but I think one of the things that's really important is you guys have to have depth. You have to have the ability to play in all phases offensively. Do you guys feel like that you can do that? I mean, are you more comfortable as an offense one way or the other, throwing the ball or running the ball?
I feel like we're ready on all cylinders here, man. I do. I feel like it's going to be great. I'm excited.
Yeah, and by the way, what have you seen growth-wise, by the way, developmentally from Jaren? I mean, you talk about big years. I mean, Jaren Hall is a real critical piece of that offense. How has he changed year over year in your eyes?
Oh, I love Jared. He's a great guy on and off the field. And I've seen him, I don't know, I've just seen him continue to work hard. He's always worked hard. Even with Zach, I mean, he's one of the older guys, and a lot of us have seen a lot of guys come and go, and seeing how other guys develop, and we've just been honestly on that consistent grind of just working hard, studying, getting that extra work in through the summer, off season. So that's what I've seen, man, and it's like it's starting to all pay off, and I think it should. So.
Couple of more questions for Harris LaChance before we cut you loose, because I know you guys have a lot to do here. Yeah. 2 days ahead of kickoff, there's been a lot made about this 2-day travel, that you guys get that extra day going out to Florida. How important is that? I mean, you've dealt with this in past seasons. How big is the extra day of travel?
I like it a lot. It gets us a little bit more acclimated, especially when we only do it when we go across the country. So I think it's kind of fun too. You get out there, and like I said, you kind of get used to it. We'll feel the humidity and everything, and we're excited for that. It's going to be awesome. So,
do we make too much out of humidity? I mean, I've heard about wet footballs. I've heard about you guys are going to die because you're going to sweat a lot. Like, do we make too much out of the impact of humidity?
I think so. I don't know. I served my mission in Tennessee too, so I love the humidity, man. I think it's great.
Yeah, you were in Nashville. That's right. I mean, I don't know, man. You guys are highly trained athletes, and I think, yes, it's humid, but it also gets humid in Utah. Breaking news, right? So not the way it does in Florida, obviously, but I think we make too much of that. And the last thing I'll ask you is, let's talk about the psychological part of this game. I think Kalani talked a lot about that you guys have psychological coaching, and you're playing a lot of you're paying a lot of attention to the brain part of this game. Mm-hmm. Has that changed? Is that something you guys have prioritized?
I think in all aspects, we've been trying to improve everywhere. I think all programs are trying to do that, and us as well. I've seen lots of awesome changes and kind of adjustments, tune-ups, to where, mentally, physically, emotionally, we can be tuned up and feel good in all those areas, and that's so important for our playing ability, I'd say.
Does that impact you snap to snap on the field when you guys are marching down the field? Are you using those tools, especially on the mental side? Are you using those tools on the field during a game?
Oh yeah, I am. Everything's important, man. How you prepare, how everything's going back at home, things like that. It helps you, man. And when you got something going, you know what I mean? It's a great momentum, and it feels good. It feels right. So.
Well, and I wonder, the things that I always think about is, obviously second half, you're in Florida. This is a big game for you guys. Does that technique and does that work you've put in, does that prevent you from getting outside of technique? Does that prevent you from that holding call or that extra yard downfield that throws a flag? Does that manifest itself, that preparation manifest itself in that way?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. But, also you got to understand, everybody's, nobody's perfect. So, sometimes you're going to have some things that won't go your way. But that's part of that mental side. You say, well, didn't go my way this time, but let's get it next time. You know what I mean? So you have that short memory. Yeah, exactly. And you have that confidence, and you have that, honestly, understanding too. If something went wrong, understand how to fix it, be mature about it, take accountability, and move on and keep going. You know what I mean? So
3 a.m, the baby's crying. Are you getting up, or is Mrs. LaChance getting up?
My wife, especially for fall camp, she is amazing. She's honestly the real MVP. So
isn't it crazy how much happy wife, happy life? Absolutely. We all get that. But isn't it crazy how important your wife is to your on-field production, your ability to perform? I mean, I have to imagine when you have a little one, she is a critical part of it.
Oh yeah, she is, man. Nothing better than family, and she is seriously my saving grace. So she's the best.
Hey, Harris, good to meet you, man. Good to see you on the show.
Yeah.
Good luck this weekend. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday morning.
Appreciate it, brother.
You bet. There you go. Harris LaChance headed to South Florida as BYU takes on South Florida. And what an impressive guy.
Yeah. I mean, dude clearly has got it going, and I think this whole thing about having a kid and having to balance the that side of your life with, with football and trying to get to the NFL and, clearly has very real aspirations. And obviously the opportunity is very real for Harris to make it. And I think that in and of itself is a huge accomplishment in life. And I think a lot of times I feel like we kind of downplay getting to the league. Like, oh yeah, well, you're playing at BYU, you'll get to the league. Like getting to the NFL is a huge step in someone's life. So I just think it was just cool to hear him talk about that.
Yeah, and I think there is that stigma around BYU. Oh, well, they're just those old guys who went out and did missions, and now they just have this advantage. He's an offensive lineman who came back at 230 pounds. You think that's an advantage? I agree the maturity factor. I agree the life skills, the ability to handle yourself mentally. Sure, I agree those are important. He came back at 230 pounds to be a tackle at BYU.
Bro.
I mean, I cannot tell you how much work. We joked yesterday about eating fettuccine. I cannot tell you, do you know how much food those guys have to eat?
Do you even live?
To stay on weight? And with this, with the sweat and the conditioning that they're doing, they've been weighing themselves on a daily basis to understand how their body is processing fluids and how much weight are you losing.
What do you bench?
You weighed 10 pounds before practice. You weigh 20 pounds after. You weigh 5 pounds after. Like, they're really putting a lot into the physical processes, the metabolism of these guys on game day and in practice. And I think it's remarkable. I know most people don't understand the physical toll football takes on your body, man.
I wonder if he likes the Cougar Tail Built Bar.
Oh, we should have asked him that.
Should have asked him about the Built Bar.
I love the Cougar Tail Built Bar.
You've had it.
I have. Now, in her defense, Mrs. Monty is not nearly as physically capable or good looking as myself.
All right, bro. Have a nice day. Didn't mean nothing by it.
I'm clearly the face of the program.
Right.
Mrs. Monty does not enjoy the Cougar Tail Built Bar.
Really?
She did not like it. And I'm not going to turn the camera, but you're happy to go ahead. Did you like the Cougar Tail Built Bar?
The puffs are just tough for me because it's like just eating a marshmallow. And so I think after too many bites of the marshmallow, I just don't love it quite as much. I think I like more substance.
Yeah.
They taste good for sure. Taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love them.